It is a wide open area that funnels people right into their neighborhood.
Neighborhoods across America are in crisis.
This is the border wall that was being put up under the previous administration. I guess priorities shifted, and so they packed up and left this huge gaping hole.
A hole in Texas that Border Patrol agents like Kris Cabrera are trying to patch.
It's like playing hide and go seek every day, but you're always it.
It got so bad in Texas that Governor Greg Abbott took fierce action, and it's working.
I can probably count on one hand the amount of people from Mexico I've caught this month.
But the situation is fluid and constantly shifting.
I think we have better participation here than we have in the Olympics. I mean, we see almost every country that's out there.
Right now, as it stands, we operate under a catch and release policy.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
That's right. And if they claim asylum, then we release them into the country pending a court date.
And that court date could be up to 10 years away.
When somebody crosses and they get released, they're calling home and saying, hey, they released us. This is what we said. This is what we did. And so more come.
And there's no way of knowing for sure who's coming into our country.
We don't have access to, other countries' criminal history unless they have an Interpol hit.
But you know people are lying to you.
Oh, yeah.
Smuggling operations are big business.
And so these people are paying, $7,000, $10,000, $15,000 a head, sometimes more. China, they're paying in the 30s. They're all coming here. Why? Because we're allowing it. I mean, we're enticing it. It's like Motel 6. We'll leave a light on for you.
So what's the answer? How do we get past that?
I can give it to you in one quick sentence. Mandatory detention, mandatory removal. Everybody that comes, you send them back to Mexico to await their turn.
And as our government grapples to turn this crisis around, those on the front lines, like Cabrera, have some advice.
No benefits, no free cell phones, no trips around the country. And you do that, and I guarantee you, it stops.
Dr. Phil joins me now. Why was it important for you to go to the border and see it firsthand?
Well, very important question, and thank you for asking it, because I wanted to see with my own two eyes, and really importantly, talk to the men and women standing post on the border down there to know what's going on. You certainly can't get the straight scoop from the media, can you?
Right.
Now you can, starting today.
Thanks to us.
Starting to Merritt Street Media and yourself, Kris. But I wanted to talk to the men and women standing post down there and find out what's going on. From what I had seen, we had, Texas and National Guardsmen down there just at each other's throat in that park, getting ready to fight over wire, and it was just a tense situation. Not at all what's going on. I mean, those guards down there respect one another. They're working together. They're having lunch together every day. They're helping each other. They're doing everything they can to make a bad situation as manageable as possible. I wanted to see what was going on and find out how they felt about what was happening and if what they needed, what they thought. Was this thing being overblown? Was it manageable, and what they needed? And boy, did I have an eye-opening experience.
You bring up a great point, because I think what most people don't understand, and I've been to the border a lot in my 25-year news career, I've been down there many times. And I think what most people don't realize is that when you have state, local, city, federal government working together, because what you see and hear coming out of D.C., that doesn't happen, right? You saw it firsthand, it does happen. The question becomes, it's become so political that there are some frustrations and some undertones down there. I think you'd agree with me that,
of course,
the Border Patrol feels like, well, depending on whose office, that depends on how we're going to do our job.
Right. And the thing is, at the rank and file level, there's mutual respect. But at the policy level, there are frictions and frustrations about what one can do and what the other can do. And that is difficult. These are dedicated men and women down there. They're, despite the problems and the frustrations and what has to be a terrible morale issue, they still show up every day. They do what they're expected to do. And I have great respect for them. But I can't imagine how heartbreaking it is to see some of the things they're seeing, see what's happening with children at the border. And, you know, I spoke to Brandon Judd, who's, I guess he's head of the union for the guards nationwide. I asked him straight up, what do you need? What needs to happen here? He said, we don't need more money. We don't need more agents. We don't need new laws. We just need to be allowed to do our job and enforce the laws that are on the books. That's all we need, and we'll have this under control in no time at all.
You know, the stories that state troopers who are along the border have told me are they're heartbreaking, to be honest with you. They see kids who are coming across the border. They can't prove who their parents are. They're not doing DNA testing anymore. They're coming across with T-shirts with names and phone numbers of who to contact once they get over here. It's almost as if the bad guys are using our laws against us.
Well, they are, and I wonder sometimes if the cartels are not who's really in charge of the border down there, because they control the masses. They control, you know, and some of the guards told me that at times they will flood an area with 1,000 or 2,000 people and draw all the guards there because they have to, and then they will send high-value targets or high-value cargo doing end runs around the area because they know they've pulled all the guards in. Now they just walk around doing end runs like you do in football. And they said, it's not that we don't know it, we just can't do anything about it.
Right. I've heard the analogy used of if our border were a long pipe, it starts to leak somewhere, you plug it, and then it leaks somewhere else. Another thing that people get frustrated about is they feel as if the American government has incentivized people getting here illegally. And what I mean by that is offering the undocumented immigrants different things: health care, cell phones, debit cards. Your thoughts on that?
Well, we're reinforcing bad behavior. I mean, we're giving these people not only the things you listed, but oftentimes they're then handed paperwork that's good for 7, 8 years
or longer
to be in the country before they have a court date, and in some cases it can be up to 10 years. And do they show up for those? Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe they do, maybe they don't, but they're now in the country, and they say all they got to do is put one foot on American soil, and these guards have now become social workers. They're processing them. That's not what I signed up for, but that's what I'm doing. I am very pro-immigration. We need immigration in this country. We need their skills. We need their work. We need all of the things that they bring to this country. But we need to know who they are and which ones are here for the right reasons, and which ones of them don't have their interests aligned with our own.
Dr. Phil and I recently spent some time down in Eagle Pass to see this issue firsthand. Take a look. There are Border Patrols who spend their entire shift literally tracking footprints. And it's hard to imagine when you see this vast, wide open area, but that's what they do, right? And it works, it's effective. They call it sign cutting. They'll walk across and they'll see someone's footprints and they'll circle it and they'll track it. Here's the problem, Dr. Phil. People will come in and you think they're wearing shoes. It's a hoof print, right? So they're always trying to disguise their footprints to keep the Border Patrol, to keep DPS off the mark. So if I show you here, I'll just kneel down here and give you kind of an example. So if I walk across and I got my cowboy boot, right? My cowboy boot's gonna leave a little impression here that they can track and see. But if I've got this and I come across and I step like that, look at that. It's a hoof print.